Hello, and welcome back to Translator's Troubles. Today I want to take a look at Martial 1.47, another short, two-line elegiac couplet. The grammar is pretty straightforward, but the epigram contains a rare word, Vespillo, which is poorly explained in our lexicons, and which I will attempt to explain here. If you are interested in seeing a breakdown of the grammar, please download the text version of this commentary, linked in the description below. Here's the text. This translates to something like, recently he was a doctor, but now Diabolus is an undertaker. What the undertaker does now, the doctor did too. The interpretation seems clear. Diabolus was a bad doctor, so bad that he probably killed or, quote, buried all of his patients. He might as well have been an undertaker. But the word undertaker insufficiently translates Vespillo. Not only is the word itself a pejorative, but it is also used in the Digest of Justinian, a Byzantine codification of Roman law, to mean grave robber. What explains this connection? Specifically, a Vespillo is someone who buries the poor. For an affluent Roman, there would have been many people involved in the burial. There was one man for washing the corpse, another man for burying or burning the corpse, and the family itself would carry the corpse. But for a poor man without relatives or with very few, all of these functions would fall to the Vespillo. It is also important to note, as we'll see shortly, that the word Vespillo, used to mean undertaker, dates exclusively from the empire. It doesn't appear in this usage in the Republic. It's a word that seems to belong to a crowded and heavily urbanized Rome. Thanks to a 1969 paper by Calvin Watkins, where I also got all the information about Roman burial, we also know that the word is probably related to the Indo-European root word for clothing. Just like today we have vests or priests have vestments, so the VES in Vespillo is probably connected to the same root. If this is the case, then Vespillo means something like clothesman. What's that all about? The final clue slots into place when we remember that clothing was often the only valuable piece of property a Roman would have been buried in. Put all this together, and perhaps Vespillo is pejorative because, serving the very poor and probably under or little paid, there was little difference between a low-class undertaker and a grave robber. There was no one to protect the bodies of the very poor of urban Rome from being despoiled. No one would come to their graves. No one would make a fuss over a dug-up spot in a cemetery. So, for a poor Vespillo, why not make some money on the side? There must have been at least the temptation, and where there is temptation, suspicion quickly follows. If this is true, it allows us to expand our interpretation of the epigram. Diabolus was not merely a bad doctor because he provided poor medical services. He was a bad doctor because he stole his patients' money, giving them no real service for the cash they paid him. So he stole their property while he was a doctor, just as he now steals their clothes from their dead bodies. This is the sense in which what the undertaker now does, the doctor did as well. The next video will be quite brief and look at this epigram in connection with Martial 1.30, another epigram where Diabolus is mentioned. Thanks to JSTOR and to Dr. Watkins for his 1969 paper, where most of the material for this video was found. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video, please download the text commentary in the link below and check out my Patreon at patreon.com/HomericDialect.